All right. I think we are live. Okay. Good morning, everybody. This is Brother Ming. And yeah, I'm here to just hang out because it's been a pretty crazy week because of the Kotaku article. And yeah, we finally hit 1,500 followers. And I'm actually super happy about that. That was kind of my goal when I first started out with this whole thing. And so I told myself if that ever happened, I would pretend like I'm some kind of important person and do an online Q&A. So I'm going to be answering some questions online that I asked for you guys to ask on the Facebook page. So I got a good number of questions, but I don't think this will take more than 30 minutes. So don't worry too much. You won't be trapped here for too long. I also have an old copy of a handmade prototype of the Code Geass game. I'm going to be giving it out to just the question I like the most, really. So we're just going to get right into it. Mindy Chara asks, is there a way to get a higher quality print done? And is there any instructions to make a better quality of the board game if you can't afford to get one of my pre-orders? So yeah, I see this asked a lot, and you know, not everybody's going to be as experienced with arts and crafts and that kind of thing. But I have the little sheet up on my drive for the Persona 5 game, which lists all the materials you're going to need. And I have a video for how to make cards. But as far as resources, unfortunately, the print and play community is it feels big, but it's oddly inactive. Because I've been making print and play games for like 2-3 years, but there's like these old tutorials. Like the one that I started off with, I think got posted in 2007. It's on Board Game Geek called Making Cards. You'll never use your old method again. And yeah, let me look at this. I'm pretty sure it's from like 10 years ago. No, it's not. It's from 2010. So only 9 years ago. Damn, it's 9 years. So yeah, personally, I would say go get a ruler and X-Acto knife. Those are the two most important things, and a cutting mat. Those three are going to be your most important things to start out with. If you have the money, I really heavily suggest investing in a rotary cutter. And I specifically say rotary cutter because I don't think guillotine cutters are good. They tend to, especially the cheap guillotine cutters, they tend to shift your paper around, especially when you get to more than one stack. Even just with one single sheet, sometimes they shift the paper around. A rotary cutter is a lot more straight, in my opinion. But yeah, like just dive into it. You know, you're not gonna. It's not something that there's like a secret to. It's just have the supplies, have a steady hand, cut them, and then have patience. It takes a long time to make some of these print-to-play prototypes. Okay. Hal Clark asks, any plans to go to France? There are a ton of great festivals in France. Hi, Hal Clark. I have no plans to go to France. I've never been to France. I've never been to Europe. So I'm Chinese. I grew up in China, and I immigrated to America when I was in middle school. That's a journey too. I actually came back and forth like 3 times because I originally got more or less deported. In America, if you're an immigrant, you either have to go to Canada or Mexico. Either way, you have to go outside of the country to renew your visa. And I was here at the time, you know, as a dependent for my dad, but because he was working in America at the time, so he had a work visa. Either way, we actually went to Mexico, and my dad wasn't physically in America with us at the time, so we didn't understand that this would happen. So they disapproved, like canceled our visas, and we were stuck in Mexico for a week, and then had to get shipped off back to China. So no, travel has never been international travel is not something that's been great for me. But yeah, France though, that sounds, I know it's supposed to be romantic. Maybe one day. Right now, yeah, travel. I'm still not a citizen of the USA, so travel's a little iffy right now. And if you haven't noticed, America's kind of a dumpster fire these days with immigration. So so on to the next one. Josiah Blake asks, how long does it typically how long does it typically make you to print, create, and finish a game? Especially if I already have assets for them. So thank you. Good question. It depends on the project. So before I posted my Fire Emblem game, I had made, I want to say 2 real projects. I had a project where I was making a card game based on the idea of Crawl, which is this old indie, it's not even that old, an indie PC game. It was a up to 4-player game where each player controlled, like you're competing to become the human, and then all the other players were monsters trying to kill the human, and then when they did, they became the human, like a big game of tag. It was really fun. I made a card game version of that. It wasn't Crawl themed at all. It's Final Fantasy Tactics graphics actually. That took me about 3, 4, 5 months into the prototyping phase. I was really intense into, I want to get onto Kickstarter. This was a long time ago. And then, senior year came around and I needed to focus on graduating and finding a job. So that just fell through. But, after graduating, after I settled down on a job, I worked on another project called Isekai Heroes. I actually had a Facebook page for that. And I wanted to make a card game that was like a party / deck builder, where the theme was everybody got reincarnated into an isekai world. And so you were a hero, you had to recruit heroes, yada, yada. And I actually really like that project. I'm still working on that project. It's gone through like 8 or 9 iterations at this point. And it's still a game I want to bring to Kickstarter. But ever since I posted the Fire Emblem game, I've just kind of realized that, like, going to Kickstarter, obviously it's not for the money. Like I want to do it because I want to, make something. I want to be like, hey, I made this thing. I made this physical thing. But the Fire Emblem game I realized I don't actually need Kickstarter for that. Like I can make things and like have the whole fun of the process and not have the headache of managing a crap ton of people's money and manufacturing. And I had a little of that with kind of Fire Emblem, but I think I realized I don't like it. That's probably why. But yeah, so, okay, back to the question. How long does it take? So those old products, that Isekai one, I've been working on it for 4 years. The Fire Emblem one took me about half a year to make my first post. And then another 4 months went by before the Kotaku article blew it up. So I had worked on it for about 9 months in total. I still worked on it a little bit in the last year. I, re-released it in terms of updating all the cards and stuff. So like, it's never truly done, right? But to get something started, right? To get something to the table, look decent, that if I have enough drive, that can take like 2 months, right? Because it all starts with an idea, a good idea. It all starts with then creating enough content for that idea. So for example, the Code Geass game idea, hey, let's make Nightmare Chess but better with Code Geass characters, 2 separate decks, and a lot less stupid effects, no card cost, anything like that. Okay, basic ideas there. All right, let's generate some content, create an Excel spreadsheet, make all the cards. All right, let's do the graphics, figure out what kind of template I need. I actually hired somebody on Fiverr to help me with a template for the card for that game. Get the Photoshop, make all that, and then generate the cards, put them into a print and play, put it on Tabletop Simulator, I play it. And if you are somebody who's thinking about making games, making that prototype is key. I personally like making a prototype that looks nice, but you don't have to, right? That's personal preference. Especially with these fan games, I think if it looks nice, I enjoy myself more. Like I see the point of it a little bit more. Anyways, moving on. So yeah, anywhere between 2 months and 4 years. Bill A. Christian says, I know my boys and I really appreciate your Fire Emblem game. Keep creating. Thank you so much, Bill. It's really nice hearing people who are happy with my work. It's kind of surreal still to have like Jesus, 200 people on my Discord. It's starting getting crazy. Like, that's bigger than my entire high school class. So, and I didn't even know everybody in my high school class. All right. Frank Fernek D. Guzman. I would love to print the Fire Emblem one. Thank you so much. I hope you guys all have fun with these. I'll start sticking to questions so I don't read too much comments. All right. Miles Miller asks, is there a way to get your games pre-made? Yes. I responded to that comment with a link, but I am currently taking pre-orders for the Fire Emblem. I mean, not the Fire Emblem one, the Persona 5 one on my website store. So it's very expensive, and it's not like I'm making a profit on them. $75 is barely getting by and covering the cost of getting all the components printed on demand. But I don't know. I'm not uncomfortable if it's like less than 40 people getting one, and I just kind of want people who really want it to have a copy. Really is why I'm doing it. Okay, so here's a fun question. Melanie Chudek asks, after what happened last time, Kotaku did an article on you. How do you feel about the second one? Great. Sorry if I miss any names bad, but great. I feel great. The first one made me feel great. Like, it was incredible. Though the first one, I think because it's a Nintendo property and everybody knows what a Nintendo property means, they know how Nintendo treats fan properties. The comments were actually pretty toxic. Like every third comment on that thing was DMCA notice in 3, 2, 1. And they were right though. The DMCA notice came real fast. And it was scary. They took down my page, they took down my website. I got some scary sounding emails directly from their lawyers. But this time I didn't. I followed the guy who did the article, and I was able to actually contact him about it. I don't think Atlas is going to be nearly as crazy. Like, Nintendo is kind of a special case. Like, I have vowed myself not to do any more Nintendo games, basically. So feelings on the second article, just like the same. Really blessed, crazy blessed. I am so blessed. I feel so incredible that I can, people find what I do cool, right? And really, that's all I can ask for. Okay. Ed Luquin asks, any other anime or games you want to turn to a board game? Also, nice to see you moving up in the world, ? Yeah, definitely moving up. My goal for this year personally is to at least double the size of the audience, because maybe I'm just telling myself this because I'm scared of going to Kickstarter, but like I said, it's always been a dream of mine to go to Kickstarter with an original game. But I've realized that, one, it's too competitive. Kickstarter is crazy competitive, but everybody else is doing it. There's nothing preventing them. But in my mind, I'm like, well, maybe if I have people who already know what I'm doing, I can go to Kickstarter and then it won't be as hard. So, right. That's kind of why or maybe I'm just scared. But anyways, any other anime or games you want to turn to a board game? So the current plan for 2019 is, right now I'm working on a Steven Universe game. I've posted some progress about it on the Discord, but I'll be making some more posts on Facebook soon. So Steven Universe is first. I have talked to the Crawl devs. I mentioned Crawl earlier, but they are okay with me making a fan game for the video game Crawl. And they actually gave me a graphics dump, and I'm really excited to work on that. I haven't came up with a good idea for a modern version of that game yet. My old game idea wasn't good. I wouldn't do it. So if that comes to fruition, I'll be working on a Crawl game this year as well. But as far as other things, so on the table for me right now are Harvest Moon and Etrian Odyssey. Those are the two anime video games I want to work on. Harvest Moon and Etrian Odyssey. They're both great game series. I love both of them. I've played every single entry in Harvest Moon. Not Harvest Moon. What am I saying? Rune Factory. I've played every entry in Rune Factory except Rune Factory 2. I owned it, didn't beat it. Or the Wii one. I really like Rune Factory. It's a great, great game series. I'm really sad it's over. And I really like Etrian Odyssey. I've played every single one except for Untold 2. And Etrian Odyssey is also amazing. I'm super excited for X, which should be coming out soon. So yeah, those are the two I have on my docket that I've been thinking about in the back of my head, but I haven't come up with any good ideas for yet. As for anime, I know that I don't want to do any more seasonal anime after Darling the Franxx. That kind of burned me too hard. I was riding on that hype really hard because, boy, that show got me really hyped. So I don't want to do any more seasonal anime. So I want to stick to anime that I really like that are classics. But I've realized a lot of the classics that I really, really like are mecha. Like Gurren Lagann. I really liked Gundam 00. I really liked, and it's just like, well, I don't want to keep making mecha board games. So non-mecha, the only classics that I really enjoyed would be like, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I don't know. The list is pretty small. Classics aren't as frequent as I thought they were. And I don't want to go too niche either. And also some of my favorite anime wouldn't make very good board games either. A lot of them are heartwarming comedies and stuff. So yeah, I'm not too sure what anime I want to turn into yet. Some classics I'm not a big fan of, I think would be very popular. Could be like Death Note or something like that. But the problem is that officially licensed games for those properties already exist. My Hero Academia is another one, and there's an official licensed property for that as well. So I don't want to touch anime properties that have officially licensed games, because then I don't want to get in trouble for it. I don't know if I would get in trouble, but because a company has a license and they made a game, I can see how they could argue that I'm taking away from their recognition, right? I could be falsely advertising. So I don't want to do those. Though My Hero Academia would be really fun. It's a little bit sad. Dragon Ball as well, Cowboy Bebop. These are all animes that already have licenses and real games made for them. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, so I guess to answer your question, the only real ones I have on the docket that I'm trying to come up with is Rune Factory and Harvest Moon. Okay, so more questions. Ninrud Velensky asks, how did you decide to create board games? So this is a really good question as well. Board games started for me a long time ago. I actually did an interview with Daily Planet, who asked me how did I get started? And so I got started because when I was in high school, me and one of my best friends, he was the co-captain of the chess team, and he was essentially my best nerd friend, because all my other friends, we were into dancing and stuff. But this other one, Eric, who's actually getting married soon, he and I were in the chess club, and we both really liked Yu-Gi-Oh! So we played competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Every weekend. And then so for fun, we were like, you know what, Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of sucks. We can make a better Yu-Gi-Oh! Because we both kind of was like, yeah, Magic is a much more solid game, but also I don't like it because of the mana system. Is very the deck building of Magic because of Magic Land. I don't think it's good, right? It's outdated even now. And so we came up with a Yu-Gi-Oh!-esque game that was essentially Yu-Gi-Oh! Plus Magic plus Hearthstone. Or actually, I guess it was more like Duel Masters plus Hearthstone, because essentially what it was that instead of playing land, you had a deck of 40 cards. Instead of having any land in that deck, all your cards were colored. Just like Duel Masters. They were on one of the 5 land colors. And at the start of your turn, you will mill 1 card for mana. So every single turn you generate 1 additional mana, just like Hearthstone. So turn 1 you have 1 mana, turn 10 you have 10 mana. And the mana was just cards from your deck. So it would always be a random card from your deck being milled. And essentially it was like Hearthstone if your cards generating mana instead of actually just random automatically generating mana. And I still think that system is really good. But I realized Hearthstone's even better because digital obviously can control it a lot more. And I mean, since then, we've stopped playing TCGs. But yeah, so I got into board games a long, long time ago. And how did I know? I mean, I knew I wanted to make games. In high school, I wanted to make video games. I was super active in the RPG Maker community. I was a very active sprite artist. I had a bunch of projects going on. I dare say I had a little bit of clout within the RPG Maker community. You can probably look me up. My old username was Monkey D. Lou. But yeah, when I graduated college, I had a job offer with a video game company called High Voltage. They're pretty big. They made They made the Saints Row series. They made the PC port for Mortal Kombat 10 that nobody liked. But yeah, it was a cool offer. But I looked at the offer, and I looked at another offer with a corporate company doing corporate software for like health insurance and like payment systems. And I was like, wow, I could make twice as much and work half as much if I just go to corporate. Yeah, working in video games does not pay, kids. Don't work in video games unless like you don't need money or need to eat. So yeah, I gave up the dream of going to work for a big video game company, and then I've been out of college for 3.5 years. And eventually, while outside of college, during my day job, I was just like, I still really want to make games, but I don't have the time or energy to make video games. And I was really into board games ever since college. I got into board games like 5-6 years ago. First was Dominion, then was BattleCon, and then BattleCon just was amazing and drew me down this giant rabbit hole. So I was like, you know what? I want to make my own board game, go to Kickstarter, right? And then once I was out of college and I had a job, I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep making board games. Even if I don't go to Kickstarter, I'll make some stupid fan game, post it online, see if I get any karma. I was like, yeah, Fire Emblem. I'm obsessed with Fire Emblem. I've dumped over $1,000 into this fucking mobile game. Let's make a Fire Emblem mobile game. I've already spent $1,000. What's the worst that can happen? Well, they don't care how much you wailed. if you make a fan game, doesn't matter if you're one of their biggest whales, you're still gonna get DMCA'd. But yeah, so that's kind of how it started. And ever since then, I was like, I want to keep going. I love that people they find value in what I'm doing, and I've realized that there's not a lot of people doing what I'm doing. So heck it, why not be the person doing what I'm doing? All right. Thank you for that question. I really like that question. That might be the winner. Let's see. Next question. Other than suggestions for getting things assembled, take your heart, more like take my money. Yep. Yeah, as far as money is concerned, there's not a lot of it to be made. So it's just for fun. I think that's actually all the questions. So I think, Nim, you're going to be getting it. Yeah, so Nim, if you reach out to me on Messenger and send me your address, I will send you a copy of my original Code Geass game. Yada, yada. But yeah, hey, thanks everybody for coming out, hanging out, chilling. I just enjoy talking to you guys, even though there's not like a two-way conversation. I like it. This page means a lot to me. Facebook is a little bit frustrating to use, but I don't know what else I would use anyways. I'm old. I don't know how to use Instagram. I don't know how to use Twitter. I have a Twitter. Twitter's confusing as hell. But yeah, I hope, I don't know. I hope that just clears up some questions if you had questions about me. But yeah, I guess that's the end of the stream. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for watching. And I hope you guys will keep continuing to follow me and support me on all the crazy shit I'll be trying. Bye.